Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of my Melodies tutorial series, and this episode I'm going to be breaking down the Principalities melody and how to develop a melody. And I'm going to be using this because this melody is really simple, and throughout this entire remix that I did of Principalities by Alex S., I just remixed or kind of developed and developed the main melody from the Russian anthem that he kind of ripped. So let's just listen to that right now. Also, this might be a bit of a long tutorial because I'm going to be kind of going over exactly what I did, and it's going to be pretty in depth. So hopefully it won't go over 15 minutes, but I'm just warning you. Alright, so that's the melody. Alex didn't even make that, he just stole it. Which I was a little bit upset about when I found out. I think it's the Russian national anthem, but I thought it was so beautiful when I first heard it. So when I found out that Alex S was releasing the stems for this remix, I just immediately jumped on board to do that. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I did in terms of my remix when it came to developing just that melody and making a whole song out of it. And I also took the drop into consideration when I was making this remix, but I'm not really going to talk about that. Just the melody and the construction of it and how I develop it. So let's just listen to what the melody actually is. Alright, so pretty basic stuff. There's a lot of movement, as we can see here. Movement's always good. It's better than block chords. But I'm actually going to show you what this melody really is. It's kind of actually pretty pathetic. But let's just take away everything but the first note of each measure. So let's just delete all of these. All right, now let's listen to this. The whole time, this whole melody is literally just a descending C sharp major scale. And the reason why that's important is because it gives us what chords we can use when developing this melody, and also just shows us kind of the bare bones structure of the melody. The only reason why the last note isn't a C sharp and it's actually an F is because that way it can lead in to the next 8-bar phrase. If it ended on a C sharp, then it would have resolved and it would have been really awkward going into another C sharp at the beginning. So that in itself just shows that the melody is a very basic. It's as basic as it gets. I literally remixed a C sharp major scale, and the melody itself is just a C sharp major scale with some pretty, you know, I guess passing tones is what you would call these. All right, so let's keep going. So after this part. Alright, it's kind of funny because I just said that block chords are bad, but I totally just did that right here. But we're gonna take a look at what I did here, and now I'm gonna talk about tension and release in terms of chords. Now, I haven't really talked about chords before. Basically, what chords are is, for those that aren't really familiar, it's when you layer different notes together to make different I don't know what to call it. I guess different feelings. It's kind of just. All right, where is it? All right, so I have these two cellos that are layered. Let's just solo that and listen to it. Now I took the basic pattern from the scale, and then I didn't copy it, but I took the same tension and release signature from the scale, because the way the scale's tones work is here. Let me go back to that scale actually. This is, I'm gonna go into tensions and kind of like tonics and dominants a little bit, but I'm just gonna call them dominants. I'm gonna call them tensions and releases. So this note is you can land on that. That's a note that you can start on and you can end on, because that's the root of the scale. The scale is C sharp major or B flat minor. It's the same thing. And then that note, that is a tension. That has to lead somewhere. The tension then leads to the B flat or A sharp. Now that you can land on that because that is the 6 in C sharp major, and a 6 is a tonic. Basically what that means is this is the 1, and the reason it's a 1 is because it's a C sharp major scale. This note is a C sharp, and this is the 6 because if you go up in the C sharp major scale, that note, which is this, is the 6th value. So if we play it, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th is one of the tonics that you can resolve on. So you have a tonic, you have tension, tonic. I guess that is also a tension. Or, but okay. So the point is that every other bar you have to go somewhere after that. So you have, so it kind of tension then resolves, tension then resolve. So when I was doing that with the cellos, I was doing the same thing. Let's just take a look at them. So we have the starting note, which is a tonic, and then this F leads into this bar. So this F leads into that, and then it leads again into this bar. These notes lead into it, and that has to resolve by the end of this. This 4-bar phrase then resolves into this part. This goes up here, and this goes down there, and then more tension, and then it resolves again, and then more tension, and then it resolves again at the start of the next 8-bar phrase. So that kind of tension and release is important when it comes to this song, because the original melody does that. And I kind of want to, I don't want to just copy and paste the original melody. I want to develop it, and I want to evolve it and see it grow and change and do all those things so it doesn't become stagnant and boring. And the best melodies are always the ones that kind of grow and do different things with itself. So let's just keep listening. This isn't much. This is a bit. I'm gonna get into this next 8-bar phrase. It's more about. This is more about orchestration, but it's gonna be really short. So. Oh shoot. Alright, so the reason that kind of has a cool sound to it is because I have these crescendos in the strings, so it really just builds up and then it kind of releases, then it builds up again and then it releases again. So and release, and then it builds up. So that's not really melodically important. I'm gonna skip ahead now to the. Actually, you know what? No, this next part's important.
Our journey through time and space begins with a single step. The edge of space. When we return home.
Alright, this is still the melody. This is still the original melody, but I've added different layers to it this time. So, it's the same melody, but with the, now with the violin part, I've added, where is it? I instead of going down, I actually go up. So that's one of the other important things about kind of developing your melodies is taking what you already have and then expanding on that idea. So to make this kind of orchestral part right here, I just took the melody that I already had and then added these other notes on top of that. And that's one of the easiest things you can do with melodies, is just adding like thirds and fifths and things. But and also kind of changing the movement a little bit. Like I didn't just constantly add thirds to the notes. I also kind of changed the direction in which the notes were going sometimes, and made it feel a little bit different. But I kept the whole tension and resolve quality of the original melody there.
Our journey through time and space begins with a single step.
Alright, so that's how I did that. And then, oh, you know what? I'm going to talk about accidentals right here. Not there. Not there. Yeah, right. Right here. Alright, the reason... Let me explain how I did that. Let me see here. Where did I do it? Alright, this tone quality is really specific. Alright, that note right there, that is an accidental. And an accidental is a note that is not a part of the original key signature. So this note, that's an E natural. If we play a C sharp major scale, there's no E natural in there. So why did I put that in there? Well, accidentals that can actually be used, if used, correctly, can really push the envelope on the kind of tension that you want. So what I did right here, this accidental acts as kind of like a sharp 2 almost, and leads directly into this, which is the third on the C sharp minor. But what I did is I created that kind of it needed to go there even more so. I could have put it this right. I could have put it right here, but it wouldn't have sounded like it really needed to push. But by putting it out of the key signature, it creates a much more kind of like it really needs to go there. So don't be afraid to kind of leave your key signature if you know what you're doing. If you know that you need to eventually go back into it, don't just leave the key signature for no reason. You have to kind of get pushed back in, or change the key signature and then kind of use the accidental to lead out of the key signature. But don't just, I wouldn't recommend doing it too often. It's kind of you can mess around with it, but I mean, if you're just starting out making melodies, there's no need to really experiment with that much. This is just another orchestrational thing that I did that I could point out. Basically, what that's just a bunch of violin trills. Like I kind of threw in these. It's a descending scale pattern, and then it's on the rise back, it's chromatic, which means that it's just every note kind of in there. It's not based on the scale. Alright, so now we're going to go into after the drop, because the drop has not that much melodic, it's not really melody, yeah. Anyway, shoot. Where am I going with this? Okay. Alright, so I'm kind of bringing in this new melody. Now, watch what I do when I kind of get out of the drop and go back into kind of the midsection.
But when we look up, we wonder, do we occupy a special place in the cosmos?
Now, I don't know if you caught that, but I changed the key signatures. Now the key is F sharp major. And I changed the key signatures because, personally, I've met people that don't agree with me on this, but I think that each key signature has its own personality to it. I think that C minor is a very sexy and devious key. I think that D major is a very religious and very uplifting key, and a very sentimental key. I think A major is epic, like the most epic key ever. And I mean, I could go on and on. Like, it's every key signature has kind of its own personality. So I switch to this one because it's just a little bit different than the C sharp major, but I will go back to it later. lots of times before I make a song, I'll make the melody normally in E minor because that's what my brain kind of thinks in, and then I'll change the melody to fit so that it can better kind of fit in its own emotional state, I guess. It's a little bit, you kind of have to experiment with it, and I highly recommend that you change the key signatures of your melodies for fun. Like, it's so easy. You just highlight all of it and just like move it to a different, move all of those notes into a different spot, and then you can just listen to it, in a different register. So that's got in my opinion, that has a completely different feeling than over here in this key signature. That might just be me, but that I've always felt that. Anyway, so enough about that. So let's just talk about what I did. Okay, yeah. So let me talk about when you want to change key signatures. Only change it when it's kind of subtle. You don't want to just change it out of nowhere. I don't know if you've noticed this, but lots of the Barbie commercials and other like toy commercials have like a really, really cheesy melody, and then because they don't know how to actually develop the melody, they just change the key signature. Like, it'll be like da 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 da, and then it'll just go da 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 da, and they'll just raise it up like a whole step. And it's so lazy. I'm not telling you to just change mid-song. Don't do that, because that is the cheesiest thing ever, and I hate when people do that. Oh my god. But anyway, so I changed to F sharp, but I'm gonna show you how to change back. I actually changed the key signature by accident, and I do that a lot. And it got me into a problem when I was making that Africa song, which I did for the 21-hour project. But so if you find yourself changing your key signature, don't worry about it. It's fine. You'll be able to change it back. I know that sounds unprofessional, but like a lot of melody construction is kind of just based on whims. But knowing how you do it later can help you go back and see, oh, okay, so I did this. And then when you make another melody, you can look back on what you did, and then that's kind of why it's important to know what you're doing. Because when you're doing it, you don't really have to know exactly what you're doing. But when you want to make a new melody and you might be stuck or you need ideas, it's great to just know exactly what ticks and what works. So let's listen to this for a little bit. Now, okay, so all of these all of this is kind of a new melody. I made it. I don't really recommend making too many melodies in one song, because I think I have that problem of kind of just throwing in too many ideas. I think it sounds nice, but that might be bad. So I'm not gonna recommend that. Don't make like 100 melodies and throw them into a song, because that's not really part of developing a melody. That's kind of just throwing in ideas that might not match. I thought this fit well, but that it might not have. I might have been better off just remixing the other melody. But let's. All right, let's. Okay, we're gonna start here. One thing that you want to do a lot when you want to develop your melodies is do this right here. This part that you hear right after the ending of the drop. That's a reference to the original melody, the very beginning of the original melody. This that's actually a reference to this pattern right here. I threw that in there because the point of this melody development is that you make something familiar seem new, and it just kind of makes it more cohesive. Oh, you know what? I did it again. I did the accidentals again. Let me find it. All right, so here's the accidental. I was stupid and I put the reason I couldn't find it was because this was actually layering over it, and because I didn't know that I had this value hidden under there, but that never happens. I don't know why. Like, I did that, but anyway, so let's just listen to these strikes. All right, this note. The reason I use it here is because, again, just like the last time I used an accidental, it resolves right here. See that has that just has to resolve into that. So I just wanted to point that out. Skip ahead to this part. Whoa, that is loud. Just to point that out, I made that. I took the vocal sample and I just like layered all of them to sound like a yelling chant. Now this is how you get out of key signature changes. This is what I did, and I mean there are other ways to do it, but what I did here, I created a chord that was so out of the key signature that I then resolved it back into C sharp. And basically what this chord is, it's so out of it, but it fit because it was such a, it just needed to pull it back in, like, so this chord is All right, so before that chord at 116, it was still in F sharp, but then because of this chord, I was able to throw it back into C sharp without anyone really noticing, and no one notices. No one's ever said anything about it. So and I was completely aware of this. Like, this was completely intentional. I knew that I had to get back into C sharp because in the drop, those like sound design things, those wubs, those are all in, you know, C sharp and stuff. So I did this on purpose, and basically what I did is I made I took those notes. Wait, let's just highlight all of these. I'm not I think it would be a little bit too out of my, like, I don't really know what the correct notes are to kind of make this. I don't really know what kind of chord that is, and I'm not going to figure it out because it doesn't matter. The point is that you can use these accidentals to rip yourself out of the key signature that you're in and go straight into another one, because this leads directly into whatever these notes are. Oh shoot, didn't mean to drag that. Wait. Alright, so let's just listen to it again. Right here, it's in F sharp. Now it's back in the original key signature. It's super powerful now because everything is just going crazy. And then these notes all rise up in a ascending C sharp scale, just like the pattern in the melody, to reach the drop. So, and then at the climax, it just goes, you know, into the drop. I want to mention this because it's funny. The sound is that's a crowd at a basketball game yelling Rasheed Wallace. And I thought it was epic. So that's that. Then there's the next drop. And the last thing I want to talk about is how exactly I... Okay, so I have the main melody, which I then grow. And then for the ending, I completely throw in a new melody, very similar to my melody that I made in Legacy, which was kind of based on Daft Punk and the Get Lucky melody. I think it was subconscious, but no one else has called me out on it, and it's not like the same melody, but anyway. So let me take a look at where that happens. All right, so so this is my outro of the drop melody. I did this in the first drop, and I'm doing it again. So it's the same pattern as the Russian national anthem, where it's like a note and then movement, and then more movement into the sustain, the tonic, the sustain. I do that here, but it's a different set of notes. Alright, so that is its own melody, and I ran into a problem while I was making the song because I'd written a different melody for the ending. So I needed to tie them together. And the way I tied them together was I incorporated parts from this melody that I made into the second melody. So the original is this is the new ending melody. Completely different. It's completely different. But what I did is I took these parts and I mixed that in here, kind of at the middle of it. Listen. See, I took the da 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 and mixed it in with this because the chords are all the same. So I was able to do that, and then I brought in the cellos later, and then it all flowed really smoothly into the next melody. So let's just listen to that. And here I do it again, because I did that before. That's kind of that was part of the old melody, and then I'm layering that into the new melody that I use for the ending.
Is the universe welcoming or hostile? Can it stand here forever?
So I'm not gonna play it because you can listen to the remix that I made. But so after that, I have this ending melody, and I do ending melodies a lot because I like to kind of, I don't know, I feel like ending a track just by kind of closing out or turning down the volume, I hate that so much. So like, you know, with some of my other songs like Titanfall, I like kind of either take the old melody and change it or do something different. This I kind of did that as well because I like having kind of flashy endings, I guess. So again, I took the original Russian melody and I did my own variation of it. This is a completely original variation of that melody again, but it's more similar to the original melody. And the reason why this version of the melody is more similar is because in the end I completely replicate the old melody to completely bring it back to the start, and that just creates a really nice tight ending in my opinion. So let's look at this variation, and then I think that'll be it. So I start out with the very I guess a da 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 da. That's definitely part of the melody. And now this part, that's not part of the original melody, and I put that in because it leads down, because this and this, these are one whole step away from each other. So right there they kind of sound like they don't belong, but because I'm then leading it back down here, it's the very, you know, it's the whole tension, tonic, you know, resolution deal, because that resolves very nicely. So all right, so that resolves, and then I just throw it up a little bit. I just send it up a little bit, but then I bring it right back down. And then with that in place, with the original melody very clearly standing there and just a little bit of variation on top of that, I can go right back to the original melody right here. And this is just the original melody, the Russian anthem. So yeah, you could do what Alex did and just sample a melody and then, you know, lazily just kind of not develop it at all. And where is it? Hold on, because I don't have a problem with it as much as he didn't say that he sampled this. I thought that he actually wrote that, and that kind of sucks. I don't want to sound like a whole sample Nazi, but sampling like drums, I don't care about. But if you're sampling like a melody, like come on. All right, so he literally just took this, like this is a recording that he took, and then he just kind of. So I don't know. I think kind of that was kind of lazy, but I mean it's so beautiful. So that's I hope that this tutorial helped. Alex S, I love you. Thank you so much for releasing that remix pack. Oh my god. Yeah, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, if I know this is way too long, but I had a lot of things I wanted to cover on this. That's just the basics of constructing a melody and developing it. Please, leave comments if you think I should talk about something else. If you think I did something wrong, if you have feedback, just let me know. I'm using a different microphone this time because thank you Tuba Tim for letting me know I'm not using my laptop microphone. I'm using an AT20 2020. And yeah, I hope this helped. Thank you very much. I might do an accidentals tutorial. I don't think I will actually. It doesn't seem that big. This is probably the last tutorial. Because the reason I even made the tutorial series was just to cover Principalities because there was so much I wanted to talk about. Because I'm to be honest, I think this is probably my best piece, and I'm really proud of it. And I just want to explain kind of what I did with it. Because in terms of like composition, I think that I really did a good job with it. So I just wanted to kind of explain it. And I know lots of people that need kind of help with melodies, so I hope that it did help. And I mean, I'm still learning about melodies and all that, and I'm not. And I did some problems in here with developing maybe I developed too many. You just kind of want to stick with one and then develop that throughout the whole song. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, this has been going on way too long. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later.